Well, good evening, everybody. You hear me every single month talk about my free web development special interest group meetings and how my blog, I promote all the different tech meetings, social media. But tonight, I want to talk to you about something specifically that we need designers to go to, and of course, that's Cleveland Give Camp. Please note clevelandgivecamp.org and the date. Please note that in your calendar. What this is an opportunity to come together and help Greater Cleveland charities. Last year, that's a picture sitting on the airport. We had over 200 people volunteer. So tonight, I want to talk a little bit, give you a little bit about the highlights of the program, tell you about some of the fun food and fun location, the fantastic sponsors that underwrite the whole weekend for you, and most importantly, the charities being served and the volunteers who make it possible. Last year, it was estimated over $625,000 worth of service was given to 25 charities. We had 5 database projects, 2 phone apps. Most of the projects are websites. I hope you had a good meal tonight, because the first thing I'm going to tempt you with is some of the luscious food we had at the event. And particularly, have you ever heard of a donut bar? Talk to me later. They had every single topping, but instead of ice cream, we were putting on donuts. Yes, so we live it up. Lean Dog Software is on a boat. We're right next to a World War II submarine. We're on beautiful Lake Erie. Their boat was just renovated last year. Beautiful office procedures. The first year they had it in camp, they were just going to have it on the boat. We had so many people volunteer that it ended up being the largest first Give Camp in the nation. And they called the city of Cleveland. They opened up the airport for us. By the way, there's a Women's Museum of Space and Aeronautics, so you're hanging out with NASA gear and planes and stuff, so it's a really cool place to be working. The sponsors is what make it possible. If you notice in the lower right of the screen, it says, want a job? We actually had sponsors there that are looking for designers and developers. They have booths out at the booths there. They're talking to the people there. So if you know of companies that like to sponsor, there's an opportunity to get out. And I love the t-shirt, 25 projects plus 200 people equals Give Camp. It's all volunteer driven, everything's given free. So I want to briefly show you some of the charities that were serviced. For example, did you know that Chagrin Falls has a film festival? Now the world does, because they have a brand new website. Mediation, there's a group that works with providing mediation services and training. They have now a project. The Greater Cleveland Volunteers, they work with over 100 charities where they place 18 and over volunteers and they provide trainings. Also the Hands on Northeast Ohio also provides volunteer placement. This one on the lower right, if you live in Cleveland Heights and you need to do some home repairs, this organization provides services in terms of materials, technical expertise, finance, and then this home service for the homeless was a direct result of people being homeless and living under bridges, so they created this organization to serve that population. People Beating Cancer was the group that I worked with. The gentleman started this foundation, and he wanted to have a website as a communication piece for survivors of cancer. And then Adoptive Services, again, providing services for families around adoption, and the Northeast Ohio Council of Higher Education, working with higher education institutions in Cleveland, partnering with local corporations. So this is just a few of the charities that make it happen, but this is the people that make it happen. We had over 200 people volunteer. Most of these projects would cost the charity between $5,000 and $10,000. Again, cost nothing. They're all weekend-long projects, so that at the end of the weekend, it's done. And again, you work Friday night, you get assigned to a team. If you're a designer, you get partnered with developers, a great networking opportunity. And you might wonder where the name Give Camp came from. It's a national organization that's all around the nation. But well, the reason is some people actually camp. Urban camping, yes! There's a little piece of grass between the airport and the boat, and people actually do, sometimes people camp for the weekend. I personally never camped, but my son and I, who volunteered with me the last 3 years, did do an all-nighter. So look at all these smiling faces. For those of you who are interested in helping out charities in Cleveland and partnering with people who are really spirited and excited and working as teams, this is the place to be. So I'm hoping next year to put your smiling face. And by the way, this was the sunset I saw while we were working on the boat. Right now, nonprofits are being accepted, so we're looking for any nonprofits you need. Get their application in. The deadline's actually coming up. Donations, again, sponsorships, and most importantly, the opening for volunteers is going to open up in June. So go to clevelandgivetab.org, put this date in your calendar. Please, if you're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, tell all the nonprofits to sign up in June. Tell people to sign up. So thank you for having me talk about it tonight.